Imagine standing inside a rainforest. Sunlight filters through leaves, striking a single chlorophyll molecule inside a plant cell. A photon arrives and something strange happens. Instead of behaving like a tiny particle bouncing randomly, the energy from that photon moves through the plant as a quantum wave, exploring every possible path at once, choosing the most efficient route instantly. This isn't science fiction. This is real biology. For over a century, quantum mechanics was thought to belong only to the smallest, coldest, lifeless corners of the universe: atoms, electrons, and particle accelerators. Biology, on the other hand, was supposed to be warm, wet, noisy, too chaotic for quantum effects to survive. And yet, over the past 2 decades, scientists have uncovered evidence that life itself may rely on quantum mechanics. Even more unsettling, there are hints that the human brain, the organ responsible for thought, memory, and consciousness, might also exploit quantum processes. If that's true, it would mean something extraordinary. That life, prestige, and perhaps even consciousness in persistence is running on a quantum layer of reality we are only beginning to see. This is the story of quantum biology and the controversial frontier known as quantum neurobiology. Part 1. Why quantum physics and life were never supposed to 1009th. To understand why this idea is so radical, we need to understand what quantum mechanics really is. Quantum mechanics governs the behavior of particles at extremely small scales: electrons, photons, atoms. At this scale, reality behaves nothing like our everyday world. Particles can exist in multiple states at once. They can tunnel through barriers they shouldn't cross. They can become entangled, sharing information instantly across distance. But there's a catch. Quantum states are fragile. They collapse easily when disturbed by heat, vibration, or noise, a process called decoherence. Living systems are the worst possible environment for quantum effects. Warm, wet, constantly moving. Chemically chaotic. For decades, physicists believed quantum mechanics simply could not survive inside biology. Life, they argued, was classical, not quantum. That assumption turned out to be wrong. Part 2. The first crack in the wall. Quantum photosynthesis. The first serious evidence came from an unexpected place: plants. Photosynthesis is remarkably efficient. Nearly 100% of the energy from absorbed sunlight reaches the reaction center, where it's converted into chemical energy. Classical physics couldn't explain this efficiency. In 2007, researchers using ultra-fast lasers discovered something shocking. Inside photosynthetic complexes, energy doesn't hop randomly between molecules. Instead, it moves as a quantum superposition, simultaneously sampling multiple pathways at once. This allows the system to instantly find the most efficient route, avoid energy loss, outperform any human-engineered solar technology. Even more astonishing, these quantum effects persist for hundreds of femtoseconds, long enough to be biologically useful, inside a warm, living cell. Life wasn't suppressing quantum mechanics. It was using it. Part 3. Quantum life beyond plants. Once scientists knew where to look, quantum effects began appearing in other biological systems. Bird navigation. Migratory birds can sense Earth's magnetic field with extreme precision. The leading explanation involves quantum entanglement inside a protein called cryptochrome located in their eyes. When light hits the molecule, electron pairs become entangled. Earth's magnetic field subtly alters their quantum states. This changes chemical signals the bird's brain can detect in effect. Birds may be seeing magnetic fields through quantum mechanics. Quantum tunneling in enzymes. Many enzymes perform reactions faster than classical chemistry allows. The reason? Protons and electrons tunnel through energy barriers instead of climbing over them. This makes metabolism faster, more efficient, and possibly essential for life itself. Quantum smell. One controversial hypothesis suggests that smell works not just by shape, but by vibrational quantum tunneling, allowing receptors to detect molecular frequencies. While debated, experiments suggest quantum effects may contribute. By this point, the question was no longer, does quantum biology exist? It became, how deep does it go? Part 4. The most controversial question, is the brain quantum? If quantum mechanics plays a role in plants, bee, animals, and metabolism, a difficult question emerges. Is the brain truly different? On the surface, the brain seems fully classical. Neurons transmit electrical signals. Synapses release chemicals. Brain activity can be measured, mapped, and modeled. And yet neuroscience still struggles to explain why conscious experience feels unified, how perception integrates across distributed networks, why cognition is so energy efficient. In the 1990s, physicist Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff proposed a radical idea. They suggested that quantum effects might occur inside microtubules, tiny structural scaffolds inside neurons, and that these effects could influence neural activity in ways classical physics cannot fully capture. Their theory linked quantum processes to consciousness itself. The reaction was immediate and hostile. Part 5, Evidence and Limits of Quantum Effects in Neural Systems. The criticism wasn't philosophical. It was physical. The brain is warm. Quantum coherence should collapse almost instantly. There was no direct experimental evidence. For years, quantum theories of the brain were treated as speculative at best, fringe at worst. But biology had already taught scientists one uncomfortable lesson. Assumptions about what can't happen inside living systems have a habit of failing. As experimental techniques improved, researchers began uncovering subtler results. They found that quantum coherence can persist longer than expected in biological structures. Microtubules exhibit resonance-like behaviors. Anesthetic gases interact with microtubules in ways not fully explained by classical models. None of this proves that the brain performs quantum computation, but it undermines the idea that quantum effects are automatically irrelevant. Today, most researchers take a more restrained position. The brain almost certainly does not function like a quantum computer. Neural signaling at large scales is classical, but quantum mechanics may still matter at smaller scales. Shaping, protein dynamics, molecular signaling, synaptic efficiency, biological timing. In this view, quantum effects don't generate thoughts. They influence the biological substrate that makes thought possible. Quantum mechanics may not explain consciousness itself, but it may help explain why biology is capable of producing it at all. Part 6. Why this matters beyond curiosity. If life exploits quantum mechanics, the implications are enormous. Medicine, quantum-inspired drug design, new understanding of neurological disorders, better anesthetics and brain therapies, energy artificial photosynthesis, ultra-efficient solar cells inspired by biology, artificial intelligence brain-inspired architectures informed by quantum principles, hybrid classical quantum learning systems, philosophy. If quantum processes influence life and mind, it challenges reductionist views of biology, classical models of cognition, our understanding of what life truly is. Conclusion. Life at the edge of reality. For decades, quantum mechanics was thought to govern only the dead, silent universe of particles. Biology belonged to chemistry. The brain belonged to neurons. Consciousness belonged to philosophy. That separation is dissolving. Life appears to operate at the edge of classical and quantum reality, harnessing uncertainty, probability, and coherence to survive and evolve. Whether the brain itself is quantum remains unresolved. But one thing is clear. The deeper we look into life, the more it resembles a system finely tuned to the fundamental laws of the universe, not fighting quantum mechanics, but using it. And we are only at the beginning of understanding how deep that quantum code runs.